So in this part 2, where we are talking about the alternatives to pi to convey a message of compositions, let's get into creating pie charts in Tableau. Pie charts, for some reason, are hard to do in Tableau compared to other charts. At least they are not as intuitive as other charts are. In some sense, maybe Tableau wanted to discourage creating pie charts. I don't know the real reason, but let's get it and understand what it is that we can do in terms of creating pie charts in Tableau. Here I have two examples that I want to show you. Then we will try to do them in Tableau, and then we'll also try to break this pie into a number of small multiple charts on rows and columns and see how that works. Here, this is employee master database. As you have seen in the first video, this is displaying gender balance, a percentage is displayed. And then in the second case, I have used the superstore where I have put the regions, 4 regions. Here, I don't know whether they are sorted, so let's sort them. Yeah, so now this looks better. In this case, this is already sorted. Yeah. So now, before we get into creating this, since we have already covered marks card, so let's understand what really is the anatomy of a pie chart. The first thing you notice is the marks, there is something specific called pie. Yeah, so that is the first thing to notice. So by default, Tableau in some sense never picks up a pie chart. So you'll have to force Tableau to use pie as a mark type. All right, so in a number of cases it will pick bar, line, and square, circle, and all of them, but I don't think it picks up pi any type. Yeah, so this is the first thing. So mark type is pi. And then if you see here, I've placed gender on color, so there is a breakup, so they're having different colors, so it makes sense. So, and then it is showing this one, this is the icon for the slice, so which is this angle. So angle, it is showing we have the sum of number of employees, and then this is for the tooltip, and then this is for the text label. Yeah, so these are the things that is going on. There's a calculation which shows you the percentage of total, a table calculation. Yeah, so now let's empty this out, and then let's see how to start from scratch and then create a pie chart like this. So since we are interested in gender and then number of employees, the first approach to try is to use show me. I have selected both of them and then I use show me. So if you see what show me has done, so it has picked up marks type as pi, and then it has put gender into the color properly, and then it has put the sum of number of records, if I expand this, number of employees, both in angle as well as in size. So we know from the perspective of our size, for example, if I change the size, this is the conventional use of size, right? So the mark is made bigger or smaller. But what is really size doing with respect to here? Does it change? As of now, it actually does not change. So if I remove this, it does not change in any way, the chart. Only when you have a differential cases, for example, if I put something like department here, then you would see the overall size of the pie itself, then this has an effect. In some sense, I would say show me has done a mistake. In some sense, it's a bug that it is actually adding to size what is not needed. What we actually need is only angle, right? So what we put here is telling how this is basically going to be in some sense split. So the other thing that you would notice is even if I remove this from the angle, it still works. Yeah, so placing them in one of the two places is enough. So whenever we are talking of a pie chart, so we have a measure, and which is what we want to determine the split of the pie, and then we have the dimension which has one or more values. So we will put dimensions on color. So if I remove this and then put them just dimension on color, it is doing a split equally, right? Because it doesn't have a number to base the split on. If I take something like department and then put here, you would see the split is equally 5 values. Yeah, so all it is doing is just splitting the pie evenly. Only when we bring something like a number of employees onto size, then the correct number is determined accordingly. Yeah. So that is one thing for you to realize. Yeah, this is what I found to be confusing. What's the role of angle? What's the role of size really? To me, both are acceptable, right? When we have just a single pie, so I can put this in angle also, and it does not change. So if you have it only in angle, and then let's say I introduce this whole department thing, we already have department here, so maybe let's put gender here. It is still changing. They are all equally sized, if you can see this. So let me fit this entire view. They are equally sized. Now if I bring and put this size, as we know, the whole mark is the size is changed to reflect the overall value of number of employees. In this case it's 37 plus 22 59, whereas in this case 10 plus 10 20. Yeah, so that is the role of the pie. When we have a pie chart, the size and the angle dimension itself. One of the things that I wanted you to notice is this one. So let me bring this is having only, yeah, so let me remove this department, and now it has employees. Let us sort also. So if you see, by default the sort is not enabled here. So what you need to do is to click on one of the measures, and then sort tells you sort gender by number of employees. Now you will see the biggest slice at the right. So one of the things that I don't know whether you noticed, that is surprising about pie in Tableau is there's nothing on the rows and column shelf, really. So what does it mean? We don't have anything on the rows and column shelf. So far, whatever charts we have seen, we have always had something on the rows and column shelf. This is the first one where we are seeing where there is no. What it really means is it's just only one dot. Just look at this. If I change it to a circle, here it is just two dots really, that because I broke it down by gender, right? So what if I remove this? It's just only one mark. In other words, that mark, once I split it by gender, it becomes two. Once I put them as a pie, so they are combined into one pie. So it's not really a chart type in that sense. That's why Tableau nicely calls it a mark type. All it is doing is, when we are drawing this plot in our school chart paper, we put a dot or a cross. That one is now converted into pie chart, where we can split that into multiple areas based on whatever we are putting on the color as well as on the angle or size area. So this is one of the things to realize. Once you realize this, now if you put anything on rows or columns, now that's gonna split the pie. So that's why if I bring now department here, so now it is putting department it is splitting the pie for the department. So let me fit the entire view. Now I could also put join date here, and then this gives rise to this very poor view because of my order of selection. So now the pies are uniform in terms of their size, right? So this is one of the things that you could do. So what's happening is, so all I have done is just put the pie on color, and then this some number of employees is not yet on size or angle. It is on detail, as you can see by these three dots, which is here. Right now let me put it on angle, and then now you could see the sizes are properly sliced. So now if I focus on females, you could see how that is, and then males you could see how that is, right? So now if I put it on size, just see size alone, just see what's happening. Now you can see clearly that both the size of the overall circle, the pie, as well as the angle was affected by putting it on size. Now if I drag and drop it on angle, it makes no difference. So here is the conclusion. If you have something only on angle, it affects just the split. If you have it on size, it affects both of them. Now let's get into the second example. So far I haven't displayed the percentage, which we'll cover here in the pie 2. So here we have superstore data. So let's start from scratch and then bring it out and see how this works. So since we need region wise breakup, so let me start bringing region to color first, and then I need this to be a pie. So now we have equal split, which is 25% is. Now I want to split it by sales, so I'm gonna put this. Now this has come out properly. Now I can see the values. So I want to now split it by display the percentage also. So which the way we will do is to add a quick table calculation percentage of total, and then we will make a copy of this and then put it on label also. Now we are able to see these percentages in these pie chart. Yeah, so that's all with respect to pie chart. Now in the next one, let's look at tree map, which would be another chart which will not really have rows or columns.